Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson, World Alternative Media here, and there's more news out of the royal family, I guess somewhat related to pedophilia and the pedophilia rings that we're seeing get exposed via the, obviously the recent interview with Prince Andrew, which was just over the top cringy. It's unbelievable that it was even able to happen. I mean, it's a common thing that people need to deny, and ignore media attention when they're in a controversy. And Prince Andrew went against all protocols, but he is an idiot. And obviously we saw that from years and years of his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein. He's basically got fired from his own family. And now this leads to more news regarding the royal family after all these years. I don't even get the relevance of the monarchy. But anyway, it says, Queen to retire in 18 months for Charles to become Prince Regent. And this has been hitting a lot of headlines over the last couple days. And as the article goes into, Prince Charles is preparing to take over leadership of the royals when the Queen turns 95, it has been reported. The Queen's oldest son met with his father at Sandringham yesterday to discuss the continuing fallout from his brother's disastrous TV interview about his links to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, I have to note that there's evidence that there was cameras recording Jeffrey Epstein in a lot of this, in a lot of his interactions with Jeffrey Epstein in his mansion in New York City. I mean, he claimed that he wasn't able to sweat way back when he met with that girl Virginia and apparently molested her as a sex slave when she was underage as well. And then all these pictures come out of him partying hard at crazy parties with models and porn stars, etc., sweating. It's just like, and he's like, I was at a pizza place at the time. Well, if you consider like the Podesta type of pizza place, probably. As the article continues, it says Prince Charles' key role in retiring Prince Andrew from public life has fed speculation that he is preparing to become Shadow King, which would see him control day-to-day royal affairs while his mother remains monarch. Her Majesty will turn 95 in 18 months, the same age at which her husband Prince Philip withdrew from public duties. There is talk among the courtiers that she may use a milestone to allow her son to become Prince Regent, the Sun reports. It's just such an irrelevant, creepy old pedophile family. You can only imagine the death toll. People talk about the Clintons. What about the royal family? I feel bad for Meghan Markle, actually, right now. A royal source told the paper the scandal surrounding Andrew and Epstein gave Charles an opportunity to step in to show that he can run the firm. No one is bigger than the institution of the royal family, not even Andrew, the Queen's favorite son. I doubt anymore. Charles recognized that and acted decisively. Like the king, he may well soon be. This was a moment when Charles stepped up as Prince Regent, the Shadow King. The Queen has been gradually reducing the number of public engagements she attends from 332 in 2016 to 283 in 2018. It's like a life of vacation. People just paying, taxpayers being extorted so that she can go and pick up flowers from children and go to like cool exotic places and look and see, and people all look at her glassy eye, go, whoa, she's looking and seeing, it's crazy. It's just so irrelevant to everyday life. It's so absurd. The Prince of Wales has been on an official tour of New Zealand, but headed straight for the Queen's Norfolk estate when he landed yesterday. Philip, 98, spends most of his time at Wood Farm, a small residence on the estate, trying to escape the Queen, no doubt. I mean, can you imagine all those years, like 70-something years of being with the Queen? Oh man, I can only imagine the torture. But then again, Philip would be probably tortured to be around as well. What did he say all that time ago about if he were to be reincarnated, he'd come back as mosquito with the plague and kill off half of humanity or something like that? Nice guy. It is believed that Charles will seek his father's advice over what the family should do next amid continued scrutiny over Prince Andrew's links to billionaire pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. The Duke of York appeared on Newsnight earlier this month to discuss his controversial friendship in what was described as a car crash interview. Since then, he has been asked to take a step back from public duties, while many charities he was a patron of have chosen to distance themselves from him. It has been reported that Charles wants Andrew to permanently retire from his royal role. It comes after it emerged that Prince William was reported to be involved in the decision to sack the Duke of York. The second in line to the throne is said to believe that the decision to get Andrew to withdraw from public duties was the right thing to do. So let's talk about this a little bit. I find it, first of all, ridiculous that people even find this family in any way at all relevant. They're not a relevant family. They haven't been for a long time. They have some powers, I'll admit, and they can control certain police forces like the Royal Canadian Mounties in Canada, etc. But I mean, overall, they're just basically tied up in one controversy after another, people ending up dead and disappearing like the Clintons have been involved in. And, you know, this brings me to another story recently, and I felt bad for her because obviously what happened with Diana back in the 90s, obviously she got killed. It was obvious that she was killed. They Michael Hastings her vehicle. You could see the guy lose control of the steering wheel, and then they claimed that he was drunk. So what I find interesting is, a few days ago, or about a month ago, actually, Meghan Markle came out and said that she just wished someone would ask her if she was okay, and she looked like shell-shocked. And I'm sure she is. Can you imagine, like, what kind of creepy rituals that they're putting her through? I mean, I understand that she went through Hollywood, which I'm sure she came across enough of that herself. Lots of pedophilia in Hollywood, lots of creepy stuff going on, lots of satanic stuff going on, all that kind of stuff. But with that said, I do kind of feel bad for her because she was probably like, oh, I'm going to be a princess, you know, with the knight in shining armor and all that kind of stuff. And then she ends up with like some creepy cult family that bosses her around and threatens her and probably showed her a silver bullet. Well, anyway, Hillary Clinton came out a couple days ago, and she said, I just want to give Meghan Markle a hug. Like, oh, the bullying and the racism against her. And it's like, oh, give me a break. She's just living off taxpayer money. By the way, she got extorted for all of her actual wealth, by the way, in the United States when she went to Britain. The IRS came after her. It was funny because the redcoats got extorted by the Yanks. Isn't that interesting? The IRS did what the British tried to do to the people in the United States, which led to the revolution. It's crazy. But anyway, they tried to extort her, and they took most of her money, and then they did an audit into the royal family. We reported on it at the time. But anyway, what happened next was, then I found out a couple days ago, Meghan Markle and Hillary Clinton secretly had lunch together, and I'm like, first of all, can you imagine seeing Hillary Clinton, that screechy witch, and going, yeah, she wants to hug me? I'm all for it. Like, that. The last thing in the world I would ever want to be is hugged by Hillary Clinton. I don't want to catch her syphilis. I don't want to deal with, her claws or whatever the hell she has. My point is, she's just like the most evil-looking person in the world. I just couldn't imagine not only listening to her voice in my ear, but hugging me. Like, I can't even. It would just be horrible. But again, Hillary Clinton's someone that covered up for the mass rape alleged against Bill Clinton and went after the women that came out against Bill Clinton, including Juanita Broderick, who we interviewed here at WHAM. And on top of that, Meghan Markle, who's part of this family that is creepy as hell and has had countless allegations made against him, including Lord Mountbatten and going to Prince Charles, his friendship with Jimmy Savile, who the royal family helped cover up through the BBC for decades, one of the most prolific child rapists of all time. And now with Epstein, the royal family telling ABC that they couldn't, or they didn't want to put out the story regarding Prince Andrew and Epstein, and they were basically threatening them. And the media bowed down to them in the United States, the redcoats. Why is this family relevant anymore? Why do people look up to them? Look, I see the mystery in it. I enjoy, I get the entertainment of watching the show The Crown. But it's all just glassy-eyed, statist, cult attitudes towards these creepy families that have ruined countless lives and murdered a whole bunch of people. But, I mean, the fact that anyone has any more respect for the Queen at this point is just absurd. They're like, oh, she's a nice old lady. She's a nice old lady that rules the masses, tries to, like, own all of the... What kind of bird was it that she tried to own the domain over for the entire world again? I mean, it's just so absurd. She should be out in a house somewhere in an old folks' home or whatever at 95 and just, having people supply food. That's the only kind of welfare that she should be getting, is like in an old folks home or something. The notion that she should be sitting there on her throne and raising her own wage, by the way, and her own income, just like writing some ink on paper, magic, and everyone gives her more money. It's just, everything she does is tax funded. It's just so crazy that people have respect for that, and that is the essence of Stockholm Syndrome. Prince Charles will likely become the king very soon. And why? What does that mean? It's a false pretense in the first place. What is a king? Where is the power? he has power because he says he has power. He has some like weird symbols on him and like some rope over his shoulder and stuff like that. It's absurd. It's all cult nonsense, and it doesn't mean anything to you in your life. What means something to you in your life is how you live free. Never mind the problems. Taxation and stuff, government is organized crime and all that kind of stuff, and these people are creating a world order in order to enslave you and enslave the masses. Never mind any of that. What are you doing about it? What are you doing to live free? Be independent. Break free from the dependence that they depend on. They want you to be dependent. They want you to be in debt. They want you to be in poverty. People are heavily impoverished, and then they look up to the monarch. They look up to the Vatican, these huge entities that steal their money and sit on golden thrones. It's so wrong on every level, and it's an antiquated idea, and people need to break free from that old guard system and look to themselves for the answers. Support themselves. Be independent. Be free. Live free. Stop being a slave. But at the end of the day, freedom is just individual responsibility. Responsibility being freedom. It goes in a circle. They need each other. They depend on each other. Those two words are synonymous. And it's about time people realize that, instead of going back to ancient Greece, going back long before that, just depending on some entities to help save them from themselves when those entities are creating the problems in the first place, and then coming in as the solution to the very problems they created in the first place. Just perpetual slavery. Collectivism is cancer, folks. Break free. Break free. Live by example. Anyway, until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth. Be the change. Like what you see here, Wham! Don't forget to check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon. We cannot do it without you guys. Every donation is extremely appreciated, as we're getting incredibly shadow banned. We've lost 80% of our audience since January of 2019 and counting. They are ripping us apart here on YouTube, and the only thing we could do in the meantime as we prepare for the next big step is to ask for help from the viewers that support our free information that we try to post on a daily basis. You can also find us on Subscribestar, where just $1 a month, that's all it takes, $1 a month is all it takes to truly make a huge difference. If everyone gave $1 a month, it would change everything for independent media, and we could win this information war, and we can defeat the mainstream medias eventually. And of course, on Subscribestar, we post subscriber-only content that you'll only see on Subscribestar. So make sure to pledge there, become a patron. That makes a huge difference, guys. And also, don't forget to check out our Bitcoin address below in the comments and description, as well as on the screen for you to scan, if you please. And also, don't forget to subscribe to us on the alternatives. We will likely be deleted by YouTube in the next 2 years. It's already happening on a vast scale, so make sure to find us on float.app. That's flote.app. at Josh Sigurdson, as well as at Wham, W-A-M. Float.app is replacing every social media, and I mean, it's just incredible the opportunities it provides for not just creators, but for the average person who wants to get away from these nannies telling them what they can or cannot see. They plan to replace Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Tumblr, Reddit, and Patreon. You could subscribe to us on Float and pledge with cryptocurrency. It's really innovative. We are also on BitChute at World Alternative Media, as well as so many others, Minds, PocketNet. You can find us at World Alternative Media on Instagram. There's many options. And finally, don't forget to join us at Anarchapulco 2020, the famous event, the best liberty event known to mankind, other than perhaps Anarcho Vegas 2020. There are 2 major events coming up that we are extremely excited about, and you can use promo code WHAM, that's W-A-M, and save 10% on your tickets to these legendary conferences. There's so many amazing people speaking there. You won't want to miss it. So make sure to support in any way you can, even if it's just sharing our videos, pressing like, pressing to be notified. Anything helps, folks. You are the change you wish to see. Thanks for watching, everyone. And until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth. Be the change.
I I'm sure you have already changed people's minds in your young age because you're involved, and I like that.